Hello everyone. I will just follow with another video today. Thank you everyone for the positive comments and the positive vibes. Um, I like to see very much this reaction. This is a good reaction of interest on how to set up an airplane. It's a it's a very important part of our hobby, setting up the airplane. In the past, you used to be building. It's not anymore. It's more assembling now. In general, we're assembling. So that's a fun part too, of course. Then you have customization or customize your airplane for upgrades or things that you like to do to your plane. For example, more power, very popular, new servos, or uh, that sort of things that it has a very direct impact to the end performance of your aircraft. And then the other aspect of the hobby is the setup. The setup is in combination with your upgrades, right? So, and then the flying is the last one, which is kind of cross-check everything. Is the flying is very tied to the feeling. Of course, the visual aspect of the hobby is very important. The shapes of the airplanes that we fly, the best plane is the one that looks the best, feels the best, and just flies the best. That's the optimum airframe that we are looking for. So, and this is a little bit about all these comments that and videos that I'm trying to do. And as I say before, this is just pure fun for me, and just a joy to share my experience and to give back to the hobby. Yeah, many friends and I know many people in the hobby that I can even remember some of them as I'm talking. Set up Setting up airplane and conversations that we had. But so the last one was about CG, and this one just want to add a few comments on the CG, how important the CG is, and I mentioned that before, and mentioned also the effects that it has by moving CG. So you could check that quite easily with an electric airplane. The electric airplanes are, the battery pack for the motor is pretty large and very heavy, so it's very significant when you move that battery. So it's a great way to learn the effects by, okay, I'm moving the battery forward, and then you are going to take off and you're going to see, okay, I'm putting knife edge, it's doing this, before it was not doing, it's doing this in my upline, it's doing this, it feels this and inverted, and so on. You move it back, and you play with that, and it's a very easy way to see the effect that it has. And the gas plane is a little bit more difficult. Obviously, you can move the receiver batteries back and forth, but in general, the receiver batteries are light and are small compared to the overall weight of the airplane, so it doesn't have that much effect. But the other important comment is those airplanes that has flaps, and CG are very, very much connected. If you have a light nose airplane and you deploy your flaps, it will pitch up much more than if you have an airplane that is nose heavy. So in principle, that's what it is, pretty simple. But of course, depending on the airplane you're flying, most likely an airplane with flaps is not going to be a pure hot 3D airplane, right? So it could be some of these modern airplanes that we're flying today that can do it all. In our case, in my case, I will mention one of my designs like the RV-8 line is one of those that, it does mild 3D, good 3D, but also has the flaps. So you had to find when I'm setting my own airplanes, I'm trying to set up in a way that I can have fun landing the airplane. It feels right landing, but also it's a good CG for 3D aerobatics. So that's quite challenging to get it right. But granted, not every airplane will hold perfect level when you deploy the flaps. You deploy that first point of flap, and in general, most planes will pitch up. I haven't flown one that will pitch down. I'm sure it exists, but not in my case. I don't have that experience. For sure, one will go more than others. The nose up, you deploy. Also, not all are linear. Some of them are like one click or second click. I call point degrees. You could call 20 degrees and 40 degrees, just to say something as an example. Between 0 to 20 degrees, maybe pitch up, and then you need a mix to counter that. We will get to that mix in a second. But the nose will go up. And then you go for a second click or 40 degrees and might climb a little bit more, but not linear, not like double. Some planes they do. But in general, what you're looking for is a CG where you get the right feel on how much you want to feel the nose weight in your landing. Because when you deploy the airplane, even if they're not climbing, it's just because you generate more lift, instantly you get more reaction to your pitch. So it gets lighter in the nose, just to say, as a good word to give you a good example, just get lighter. And so you need less pressure on the elevator. It gets lighter. So you had to find a CG where it doesn't balloon up too much, but at the same time it doesn't hurt your airplane capability. If you're flying an aerobatic airplane, if you go to an extent where it feels really right and nice on landing with flaps, you might feel then the airplane a little bit numb or not reactive in pitch as much as you want if it's an aerobatic airplane. I hope I'm explaining well there. So the CG is going to be, you're going to be playing with that CG to find that feel that you like for landing, and then you would proceed to do a pre-mix of flap to elevator. So you will have, in your flap system, you will have 2 points, and you're going to add some down elevator. So when you deploy the flap, the elevator goes down, and then other click, and it goes more down. As I said before, depending on the airplane, how much you will need. And how you do that, you just go out there, deploy one click, and observe airplane pitch up, land, go for some number, add it. And by playing with this, you will, over time, you will know how much, you see an airplane going there, oh, I need 2%, I need 3% more, or things like that, until you get happy. So you get that perfect line. And then, of course, here it's important the airspeed, So when you deploy flap, never do it at full power. If you're riding in an airliner, you will, for example, you can go through the window. They will not be full power and putting flap down. That's a no-no, for full scale. On our models, we can do that. Nothing will happen. But it's not the right way to fly an airplane. And that's what we always try to do with the RCs, try to simulate the full scale, right? So in general, you will be like a half power or half of your airspeed, and then you are going to deploy the flap, maybe one click, and at that speed you can observe the airplane. What is it doing? And then go for the premix and do the same with the other. Then you will come in finals, which you're going for an angle, and then you come the time for rotation, and that's when you get that feel and find out if it's right, and that's when you will might adjust again your battery to find that perfect feel for that final, and then rotation, and then the landing itself. So I expect you will be moving that battery or moving that CG again after even you got the airplane perfectly, level with flaps downs and things like that. So this is an important aspect for the sport models, the flaps and the CG, how much relationship there is between CG and the flap setup. So the CG we covered quite well, but it's not a thing that you will go one time to the field and I'm done with it. I'm happy, I'm perfectly good. I don't need to test it anymore. Every time you go, you in your mind, it will kind of be always a cross check of the CG, because some days you might go out there after you thought was perfect, and today for some reason you feels like, for example, nose heavy. If it does, move it, change it until it feels right, because if you're feeling something, it's because it needs a change. It's not that something changed on you. I think our own feel for airplanes is pretty stable, and we need to find the airplane to do exactly what it match our feel. I don't know if you follow me. We're not chasing the feel, we're chasing more how we adjust the airplane. So think in that way. So if you go and you see one day that is feeling CG, maybe feeling different, nose heavy, as I say, move it and get that day, go home feeling that day you flew with the right feeling. You have a good feeling of your CG, it feels right. And of course, it might happen as you move CG, maybe you go back and at that same day need to do some adjustment to your rate and your expo. It's possible. And so anyway, do that changes, and then the next time you come, it will be sort of a confirmation that you're on the right path. Maybe you come back and say, oh, it's spot on, I like it, continue flying. Or maybe it's like, it's not happy with this. Do it again. And you you need to keep doing this until you're happy with it. That's the way I think, and I think overall my experience tell me that we are pretty stable as far humans, right? All pilots, all of us, pretty stable as far as our own feel for the airplane, and we need to adjust the aircraft in a way that it kind of suits us the best. It fits our own feels the best. So every time you feel something, go and change it, change the airplane. And two things: one, you will be trying to match your feeling, and the other one, you will learn. If you don't touch it, you never learn. Always be curious, touch it, change it. Maybe wrong, yes, that's how we learn. We all make mistakes and wrong, but from these errors, this is how we learn. I always look at when there is an error or a mistake, is always something positive behind that, something we will learn, and this is in general, right, for life. So this is all I could think about the CG. You know, when we go and talk about the coupling premix, we'll be coming back to CG a little bit because there is a lot of relationship there. And so that's all I have for now, and we'll keep going. And I will put this also in YouTube, like somebody suggests that was a good suggestion. Put in YouTube, so it will be easier to share or go back in time and find it. So, all right, guys, thank you. See you.